Hi, we are saying Jambo from Nairobi, Kenya. Jambo means hello from Nairobi, Kenya, and we are talking to the entire world tonight on Keep It Real Show with Pastor Esther Obasi-ike. I see quite a good number of you. Roslyn Wasia, you are saying, Mommy, we are waiting. We are waiting. Arispa Nafula said, I missed the show. Mommy, I'm ready. Centrine Nekoye is saying, good evening, Mommy, in Jesus' name. I am eagerly waiting for the show. And here we are with the show. We are here. So you guys know our style. We are not stingy with our hands. We are very generous with our hands. And for as long as we touch our icons and say move, God ensures that there is no paralysis on that hand. Faith Hope is saying good evening, Mom, and good evening, the guest. Erastus is saying I'm connected. Thank you so much, those of you that are early birds. Help us to wake up those who are eating chapo and those who are eating cuckoo. Tell them that something is cooking right here on our page. Let's begin to share. Dr. Ann is saying, good evening, Mommy. You look good as always. Thank you so much for your compliment, Dr. Ann. Now the thing is coming too many. So many of you are logging in that to now call your names may be a problem. Mobin is saying, good evening, Mommy. God bless you. Isabel is saying, good evening, Mama, and our guest. Vidish is saying, good evening, Mom, in the Lord. I love all your greetings. I love all your greetings. Who is this Ruth Favor Boaz? Are you really sure your name is Boaz, or is a prophetic Boaz that is on the line? God bless every one of you. Perez, Sheka, Chiro, Christine, Deaconess Jumoke saying, good evening, my mommy. Also, good evening, my daughter, Jumoke. Steve is saying, yes, we are many of us. Good evening. Yes, I can see you are quite many, Steve. God bless every one of you. Sue Kimani says, hello, ma'am, and I guess, hello, Sue, and all the followers. Vidish Mbugwa. God bless you. Let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving and waiting for 8 o'clock. Susan Kinywa, good evening, Mom. Good evening, Susan. You know I love you to call you Wambui. That Wambui makes you look so yummy. So Wambui, God bless you. Mume, blessed evening, Mommy. Sophie, hello. God bless you. Celestina, Rosemary Newmy. Hello, Tundit, Tundin. Roslyn Okech, all the way from Canada. Good evening, Mommy. You look beautiful and I've missed you. Roslyn, I've also missed you. I wish I could just develop wings like Philip and land in Corner Brooks in Canada. I miss you too. Chinelo Ndego, the powerful president of Anwick. Chinelo, I have a powerful card for you guys. I'm going to send it at the right time. So good evening, Chinelo Ndego. God bless you. Yvonne from US. Yvonne Qatar from US. You say we love you always. Hello to you and the guest. Yvonne, I also love you always. Anita, God bless you. Ingrid, God bless you. Elizabeth Kingsley, God bless you. I love every one of you as things coming in. Eunice Mbuka, God bless. Good evening, Mommy. You are looking very pretty. Thank you so much. I love to hear that. You know, girls are girls. Even when we are in our 60s, 70s, 80s, we still want to be told you look good. So thank you so much. Every one of you, Joyce Obonyo, Nyaka, Yvonne Sayo, God bless you, God bless you, God bless you. And as I'm greeting you, don't forget to share. Please share. Every one of you begin to share now, share. Now let me go to my guest before I introduce you. Guest, have you shared on your Facebook? Let me know whether you have shared on your... Oh, okay. The Boaz said, I am from UK. Let me read what she says. Ruth Boaz said, for joining you from UK, and you look beautiful as usual, Mom. Thank you so much, Favor Boaz. I am so grateful that we can have Boaz online. Wambui, Susan is saying, I love this couple. I love this couple. That means this couple we are about to interview, I love them. So we thank God for you. Mercy Akot is saying, Mommy and our guests, you guys look lovely. Thank you. Vidi, she said, always a blessing to have you, mom. God bless you so much. All right. I want to believe you have shared. Let me go to my guest. My guest, have you shared? I want to be sure that we are right live on your Facebook. Have you shared?
Yes, yes, we have shared on our Facebook.
Okay, I want to hear the voices of your people. Tell your people to say something about you. Your all these people talking are my people. I want to hear the voices of your people. Ask them, where are thou? Where are thou? Ring a bell. Tell your people, I am on the show. You guys have got to show up. You guys log in, log in, log in, log in, log in. Somebody says blessing and say, mommy, you look cool. You are looking cool. Yes, I'm really cool, and I'm a cool girl. I don't give trouble. All right. So please wake up your friends. My guests, wake them up. I want to hear them talk about you. That's the only way I can know that they are on the show. Pastor Rahat Mashi, God bless you, Pastor. Yeah, if you are coming on the page of my guest, the Ocampos, I want you to say something about them. I've not seen their fans. I want to, if you're their fans, I want you to say something before I welcome them, because we need to welcome them. It's already 8 o'clock. I want to be sure that they are there, their fans are there. If you're on YouTube, if you're watching on YouTube, please make sure that you subscribe to that my YouTube, and I'm going to give you the YouTube of the Ocampos after we are done with their stories, so that you can also follow them. Please go and subscribe to my YouTube. If you're on my YouTube, subscribe on my YouTube. If you're on Facebook, like my page. If you have not liked my page, like my page, and they follow me on YouTube. And also um don't forget to touch thumbs up. Thumbs up means I love this show. Thumbs up means I love the show. I am still waiting for the followers of my guest. I want to welcome Bishop Watson Ngulube, all the way from Lusaka, Zambia, following all the way from Lusaka, Zambia. We thank God that this is a global show. It's not a local show, because we are bringing in people that have global mentality. So we thank God. Mukuli Kai said, looking good, mommy. Thank you so much. Edna said the Ocampos have been a great testimony. Thank you, Edna. It means that you must have known them. Lynn Marie said, tune in. I'm a start, but a fan of the Ocampos from their YouTube channel. Okay, Lynn, God bless you for being their fan. Puri Walker said, this couple is awesome. We thank God for them. Lynn says, I tune in and I love your campus. All right. Thank you so much. Let the followers of our campus make sure that they plaster the show, and let us know that they have people. I told them to make sure that they call their people to be here, because you can't show up in a show like this without your people cheering you. And so, yes. So all my people also, you are welcome, all my followers, and thank you so much. I have said, please share, quickly share to all your Facebook pages. And Kenyans, thank you so much. Charity Teresa say, love you, Pastor Esther. Thank you. Rehema say, good evening, mom. Thank you so much. Now you know that Kenya is noted on social media. Somebody is saying, please like the video. All right, guys, people are telling you, like the video. Go to where we normally put a thumbs up and put like the video. The same thing on YouTube. Go to the YouTube and like the video and watch it, and follow me on YouTube. Marcia Code say, my first time, this will be my very first time to hear about their campus. That's why we are having this show, because quite a good number of you may not know them. And so we are here to promote what God is using them to do. All right, like I was saying, Kenyans, we are very good in creating groups. We are very good in creating groups. Let me greet somebody that is too precious to us. That is Pastor Chris Saibwe. Pastor, we have missed you terribly. Pastor Chris Saibwe is saying, good evening, mommy. God bless you, ma. Thank you, and God bless you too. We appreciate you, and we have missed you and your family. I've not seen you in a while, but I know we have been chatting. The Lord bless you so much. Regina Kamunde, good evening, Mom, and our visitors. All right. Kenyans are noted for being in groups. Actually, they are rated one of the leading groups in the world that use groups. So please take up the link and send to your groups. The link, take them and send to your WhatsApp groups. Let them hear what God is doing. I've always said when it comes to the things of the kingdom, there is no apology there. No apology, no diplomacy. We have to present our product because our product is the best in the world. And I always tell you, when you try it and it doesn't satisfy, return it to me. The only thing is that it doesn't have a replacement. The gospel has no replacement. So it's not the one of you return, I replace. You return, I give it back to you. You go and try it the second time and third time and fourth, and eventually it will work. Now, as we keep on, don't forget our revival meeting tomorrow. Our revival meeting, oh my God, tomorrow we are dealing with there is fire in my bones. There is fire in my bones. So join us on our revival meeting, 8 o'clock tomorrow on this same page. Every Monday we have revival meeting. I have said I will not give up. We will keep praying until fire catches up with every single human being that stays under the influence of our voice. God's people must get back to church, and the nations must bow before God. So please make sure that you follow us every Monday for revival. We are not asking God for cars. We are not asking God for houses. God knows how to sort out those things. He says, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness. Then every other thing shall be added unto you. God knows how to add and even give us much more than we require. Our focus on our prayer is let your kingdom come. Let your will be done on earth as it is done in heaven. Set our hearts on fire for you, Jesus. Baptize everyone, even babies in the womb. Let them receive the Holy Ghost baptism. Let everybody be a carrier of fire, that wherever we go, we erect altar for God all over the world. And so join us tomorrow, exactly 8 p.m. for that prayer that I carry fire in my bones, like Jeremiah said. Don't forget our Kesha on Friday, mini Kesha online, 10 p.m. 10 p.m. that the prince and myself will be ministering. The topic will be, you shall laugh last. And I can tell you, you will not just laugh last, but you will laugh best. You will laugh last and you will laugh best. There is a laughter that goes transgenerational. And so join us on Friday on our online. Now, ladies and gentlemen, with joy in my heart, I want to welcome our guests tonight, Pastor Solomon and Liz Ocampo. The couple, I listened to their story and I came back and narrated the story to my husband. You know, there are stories you hear. You say, where is my spouse? So to hear, where is my spouse? So I came back and I shared with him. And what a joy to share their story with the world. Wherever you are, give them a clapping ovation. I call it a clapping ovation, not a clapping offering, because clapping offerings go to the Almighty God. But wherever you are seated, give them a clap ovation. Give them a clap to your campus family. Let them see your clap. Oh, yes, I see the clap coming. I see the clap coming on the social media. Thank you so much. All right. Let's hit the road. Pastor Liz and Pastor Solomon, you are welcome to my show. Let me just hear your voice. Greet us and greet the people before we go in.
Thank you so much, Pastor or Bishop Esther Obasi-ike, for having us. It's such a great honor to speak with you and to everyone on the show.
Amen. Thank you so much. We are so excited and we cannot wait to do this. This next one, I will be fire.
All right. So let me begin. They normally say ladies first. Even sometimes in Africa, men first eat the food before the ladies eat. But when you ask them, they say because you guys have eaten when you were cooking. So no problem. Now let me begin. Ladies first. Liz, can you tell me, you are a pastor and a bishop's daughter, and I knew your father before he passed on. In fact, when he turned 70, I was part of those that came to honor him in his 70th birthday, and I was also asked to speak briefly for 1 or 2 minutes in during his birthday. Just say something about how did you become a pastor? How old are you? And at what age did you become a pastor?
Well, right now I'm 32 years old. I became a pastor at age 17.
17.
Yes, I became a
My
pastor
goodness.
immediately. I cleared high school. My mother, she had been actually educating us with Bible school and all that. While we were in the house, we had to memorize chapters, not just verses, and we were not allowed to eat food until you eat your spiritual food. And so it was just a lot of the Bible just put in our heads and the practicality of all it. And once I cleared high school, immediately before I knew it, I was just put in leadership, and so I wasn't too much on it. And so she my mother also requested all her children to take Bible school before you pursue anything you want to pursue in university. So I went to the America to Bible school in CFNI, and that's when I found that this was really my calling. It was really a beautiful Bible school that pulled out the calling out of us, and you'd find that about 80% of us were pastors' children. And so then I realized once you're the child of a Levite, the calling of a Levite is on you. And so there is when I really found my calling. And since then, I have never looked back, and I'm always grateful that she actually had to pull it out of me and all my siblings, actually.
Let's appreciate all over. Please, let's appreciate the mother and actually the parents of Liz, especially her mother. Let's give our mother a round of applause. You know, when we read the Bible and we see the roles that women have played in the time past to bring forth prophets, kings, and all those things, just like the Proverb 31 woman that gave, produced a king Lemuel. You will see the power of women. Look at how the mother made sure that before you get your first degree in the secular academics, you first go and get your degree or whatever in the ministry. I know she was midwifing them the way that the mother of Joseph prepared Joseph for leadership. You go and test it. If now it looks like something you want, you will. And at the end of the day, she became a pastor at age 17. And Liz, you say you still came back and still did your mass communication. So you are educated both in the ministry and in the corporate. Thank God for that. Let me come to you, Pastor Solomon. Pastor Solomon, what kind of a background, in few minutes like her, give us a little bit of your own also background. Let's see the road that maybe how did you become a pastor to yourself?
Yes, Pastor. It was very similar to that of Pastor Liz. My parents are both servants of God, and that was always the emphasis. We are 12 children from one mother and one father, and all of us, they just raised up us as having Christ being the biggest inheritance. And they emphasized that while education is good, both of them were top academics in their own field, but they valued the work of God more. So they told us that this was the way to go. And most of my siblings are still doing jobs and other professions, but very much also ministry involved.
Wow, wow. Look at your parents taught you that whatever it is, Christ is the greatest inheritance. Is the
Yes.
greatest inheritance. What an honor to have such, what a privilege to have such a parents. Are you from where, Solomon?
From Philippines, Pastor.
You are from Philippines. I normally say that Philippines and the Nigerians have some great great grandparents together. As I as I normally watch sometimes I watch your videos, your movies,
Yeah,
and it's like movies are meant for the Filipinos and Nigerians. We thank God.
yeah,
I
yeah.
hear you say that your father and your mother gave birth to 12 human beings.
Yes, 12 of us. I'm number six. I'm in the middle.
My goodness. And you, Pastor Liz, how many are you?
We are eight, and I'm the last one.
You are eight and you are the last born. How many are in the ministry?
Four in full-time ministry, and the other four are kingdom finances.
The four others are working and financing the ministry, and four are there full-time cultivating. Oh
Yes.
my God. Oh my God. What a family. All right. Now, uh, Solomon, you are from Philippines. Um, Liz, you are a Kenyan. From which tribe?
From Kamba, I'm a Kamba.
From Kamba. How did Kamba find Philippines? Is it was it from movie or from where? So let me come to you first, Liz. Tell us a bit of how this relationship. How did you people find yourself?
Well, we found each other on the aisle. The people who found themselves are our parents. As you've been hearing, that we are very obedient children. And so our parents found each other, and they were close friends, covenant friends, since the 1980s. His parents were missionaries in Kenya, and they'd come and go and come and go. But in 2005, they came and settled until 2010. And during that time, the bond with my parents became stronger. And so his family, they do arranged marriage. They pick spouses for their children. And so one time my mother went for his sister's wedding in the Philippines, the number five now. And so another arranged marriage. And while she was there, his mother tells my mother that, oh, my next child is Solomon, and I think your daughter Liz is the one for him. And so she was so happy to hear that, but she knew there's no way I would agree. And she knew me to the T. There's no way I would do that. And so she calls me immediately and she's like, oh, you'd never believe, the Ocampos. I'm like, yeah, yeah, yeah. She's like, you're next in line to get married to their son. And I found it hilarious. I was like, wow. And so I really laughed. And 2 years late, it was it was a journey of laughter, because at that time I really didn't think arranged marriage was for me. No way. I didn't think I was not good looking, that I could not attract a man, and you're a young girl, not now. I'm with mother of four children. At that time you're looking slim and everything, woman of God, you have men lining up for you, not you lining up for a man. And so I found it really very hilarious. And when my mom came, she just kept on insisting on it. And I was dating at that time. And so 1 year later, after the wedding, somehow we had a family vacation to the Philippines. And when we arrived, everyone kept on poking, oh, that's the one for Solomon. But I'd really never seen this Solomon. I looked him up on Facebook and I didn't like what I've seen. Profile picture popped up. I was
Later,
like,
you tell
no.
us why you didn't like what you were seeing on Facebook. You
I
go
mean,
ahead.
he had nothing, like his smile was, everything was off. It had nothing to do with my list. I'm looking at his height. I'm like, no. So anyway, I made sure I blocked him just in case he tried to talk to me or got things in his head that I am going to say yes. And so he was busy in the university at that time, the entire time we're in the vacation. So I really didn't see him much. Uh, Once in a while, I'd see him in a crowd during the church services, and everybody will be pointing, that's your husband. And I'll just laugh. Ha, 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 no, I have my man back in Kenya. Guys, let's not play these games, because I really was dating somebody else at the time. And so towards the end of that vacation, they have something in Philippines they call a despedida, which is a farewell party. During the farewell party, his father gets up and says, I just would like to betroth my son. He's next in line. And he's the prophet's son. Every woman in the whole church was waiting, like, this is it, this is me. And I was sitting there with my sisters and we're laughing. We're like, wow, finally they found somebody else, at least they won't bother me anymore. And while he's there speaking, he says, and the girl is Liz Mui from Kenya. I was like, wait, what? Wait, hold on. What do you mean? And he was also unprepared because he was even still in uniform. In Philippines, they wear uniform in university. He had just come from class
They
and he
wear
was just
uniform
passing.
in university.
I know.
Oh my God! In Philippines, you wear university. Jehovah, you wear uniform in university. So they were betrothing a man on uniform to a woman of God
Imagine.
from Kenya. Oh my God!
He didn't know either that he was going to be betrothed that night. He even just happened to be the venue, but he wasn't planning to be there. And so how the Lord ordained everything, and then, so I walk up and I'm crying. I'm like, wait, no, I can't do this. And so that was that. I came back to Kenya. I just had to call my boyfriend at the time and tell him, that it's become complicated. Let me remain single for a while. But I knew I was betrothed somewhere. But I still continued to block him on all social media. And his mother, who was very, very persuasive, and she tried and tried to call me, but no, I'd be like, please, no, please, 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 just look for another girl, please. It cannot be me. Like, I cannot marry somebody who's been picked for me, somebody I've not dated, somebody I don't know. I mean, it was all the wrongs. Like, no, please. So yeah, that's how we met.
All right. So before I go to Solomon, when you came to Kenya, you told your fiance that you want to become single again. What do you mean? Does it mean that by the time both of you agreed to be in relationship, you never sought God? You didn't even know whether God was speaking. How did you get into a relationship and just came back and say, let me become single again?
I think at the time maybe I was working in canality because with your list. So this man is going with my list, with the height that I want, the dressing, not necessarily the spirituality. You're just going with the list that you had. And so one thing I realized with God, He doesn't follow your list; He follows His list for you. So yeah.
All right. I will get back to you to know eventually how you had blocked him. We want to know how you eventually unblocked him. But let me come to you, Pastor Solomon. Is this story true? And if it is true, tell us your side of the story.
Yes, it's completely true, Pastor Esther. But for me, it was not much of a shock because I had seen my elder siblings, sisters and brothers, go through it, and all of them up to today are happily married and with lots of kids. So it wasn't really a shock. The only shocking factor for me was the crossing the a racial background, because I told my parents I'm willing to obey, just one request. I just want to marry my own Filipina. That was all. Yeah. So when I was told that it was going to be Liz, we also didn't know each other. I knew the family, and the family knew me, but and knew her, but we didn't know each other individually. I said, please no, because as a Filipino, we're used to the white man. We're used to the foreigners in our country are white people. So white people, we don't even turn to look at them because we're so used to them. But African or the black people were not. We didn't have so much of them in the Philippines at the time, so we're not really used to that. So I was so close-minded, that I just wanted the Philippine. Even when I was being, they were talking about bringing a Caucasian lady to be the one for me. I said no. I was very patriotic. I'm still very patriotic, nationalistic and all of that. Very narrow-minded. So that was the big shocker for me. But then when she came and we were betrothed, and then when she blocked me, it was a no. So I was expecting it to be a gone case because she was very firm in her no. And yes.
Wow, let me ask you. You said that your parents, the order of the day, the tradition of your family is arranging marriage. All your
Yes.
siblings that are married, the parents arrange their marriages. What
Yes.
what is behind your parents? What could be
All
their
12
reason
of
for?
them,
Go ahead.
all 12 of them are arranged.
Oh, all 12 of them arrange
Oh,
marriage. So 12 of you are
yes.
all married,
Oh, yes.
and your parents arranged all.
Yes,
What could
yes.
be in the mind of your parents? Did you people ever ask them? Because it's like a family tradition that all of you accepted with your open heart, because you said you just said to your parents, I will obey you, but just do me a favor. It must be from my people, but I will
Yes.
obey you. So it appears that that tradition is acceptable in your house. What could be in the mind of your parents to be doing arranged marriage?
Okay, it began with the firstborn when the inspiration came from, my father was reading when Isaac was chosen for his wife. Especially in the day and age today, with so many things going on, that they believe that this was the way God was showing for them. In Philippines, this is also very strange. It's not done in the Philippines. It's just our family, and it's not so much for money. It's not for convenience or status or position or for any other agenda, but they go prayerfully and they seek the face of God for our spouse, potential spouse, and then they show us the way. But we are given freedom, of course, to choose, to accept, or to choose our own way. Up to date, none of us have, disagreed with that, and we don't follow blindly. We are given a choice. As for me, even though mentally in my mind it was not making sense, like, why am I going to marry this stranger that I do not know and from another land, from another world? But after much consultation in my spirit, I had that peace that passes all understanding, that this was the way for me to go. And so when I saw that they were considering spiritual things and that they believe that they are hearing from God, and I knew that they're the best for me, they were not choosing their best pick, not their personal preference, but who they believe that God led for us. So that's why we siblings agreed to it, because we saw that they were doing it not out of selfish reasons, but for what they believe is the leading of the Spirit for them.
This just tells us that parents have a big role to play, even in establishing the ministry and the calling of their children. It's like watching your children and guiding them diligently, the way Abraham said, please swear to me that you will not pick a strange woman for my son, meaning a woman that was outside God's covenant. So you look at it and you see that the aim of your parents, the objective, like you said, had nothing to do with money, had nothing to do with selfish gain. It is to make sure that the kingdom business continues, that that priesthood lineage that God has set, that even after their parents have gone, they are sure that their children are walking in the ways of the Lord. My goodness, these are great parents. And I thank God for you children, because and I believe that there is also one thing that must have made you children to obey. You must have seen that the ones they arrange, that their marriages are working. Couldn't be.
Yes, yes.
Because if their marriages are not working, you will say, no, this arranging business, I don't want it.
Yes, yes, of course. They were the guinea pig, the lab rats, to see if it works.
Wow. Somebody is saying, Mercy is saying, so they prayerfully select your spouses. That is amazing. That is always good to follow the personal revelation we get from scripture. God speaks in different ways. Yeah. People are saying marrying with destiny in mind. Edna is saying people are marrying with destiny in mind. You are going into marriage as a generational legacy. As a generational legacy. Wow. All right. So let me get back to you, Liz. So you saw this stranger, you came back to Kenya, you quit I pity this Kenyan guy. I don't know where he is. So you quit the young guy and you now say, I want to let me go this direction. So does it mean that you suddenly loved Solomon? You were in love, you were tantalizingly in love with him, and now you disappeared with him? Or tell us again, how did it come? Because in one of your interviews, you actually said you You have been looking for somebody to marry you because you were in your 20s and you were in the market of marriage, looking for people even young. I want you to talk a bit about that, because I wonder how a pastor was busy looking for people to marry her in church, even young. Just let's get to hear that story. Say something about that.
So no, I absolutely not did not love him or anything or had any feelings to him. Like I said, I didn't even want to communicate with him. I broke off with the Kenyan because now I was in a complicated situation. So I broke off to be single, not to be betrothed. Although I was betrothed, I broke up with him so that I can be single and not be in a complicated situation. In Philippines, they know I am the prophet's son's betrothed girl, and then here in Kenya I'm busy dating. No, then it becomes even complicated in the spiritual realm when you're praying. So during that time I tried to make it clear to his parents, I am not doing this, and I said everything. His mother will call me for hours, and one thing the father said that stood out to me was, I was not his choice also. God is the one who could, he had God very clear. The Lord even had to give him scripture somewhere in Isaiah, I'll bring you daughters from the east. And so that's how sure he was. He wasn't even just listening to himself. He was listening to the voice of the Lord. And so now, I'm like, no, I'm not convinced. I'm so sorry. I cannot do this. And so during that time, because this is now 2 years, this is within 2012. From 2012 to 2014, like you said, I went back on the market. Hey guys, I am single. And like I said, I had a list. But since I was a young pastor, I also was hoping and praying that God would give me a pastor who would be a priest in my home. I did not want to be the priest in my home. I wanted a priest over me. And so I was literally only dating pastors. You go for a youth conference, you find the youth pastor, and you just start talking, and before you know it, you've exchanged numbers. And so pastors were the ones on, and there were so many single pastors at that time. Young men. But I just realized these pastors were wasting my time because their purity standards were not upholding in what I was brought up with. And so I was brought up on very strict purity standards, but then theirs are more stricter. So I prayed to God and I said, God, give me a man who has higher standards than I. And so you keep praying about it, and then the Lord just, like, he spoke to me like so clear. I already gave you somebody with higher standards than yours, and what are you doing on the floor praying? What are you praying about? I already gave you somebody with higher standards. And literally when I looked back, I was like, oh yeah, Ocampo family, those guys have really high standards, because I knew his sisters. They cannot even hug a man, they cannot even greet a man, and once they're betrothed, they have to always have people within them and the person who they're betrothed. Their standards are so high, you kiss at the altar. And so those were higher standards than mine. And so after that prayer, it was a Tuesday. So I unblocked him, and so on Facebook, and then I sent a hi. And so he replied immediately. He was like, oh, hi, you unblocked me. I'm like, yeah, this is just to inform you I've unblocked you. And so for me, I didn't expect anything. I expect, like, okay, let's start a friendship. That was my expectation. Let us see where this will go. Let us be friends. But apparently the next thing he asked me is, what's your ring size? And so I thought he was joking, but I jokingly also replied, oh, my ring size is this. At that age, you know everything. You know your wedding dress size. You know everything that you want. You have it all planned out. And so that was on Tuesday. On Friday, he was in my living room proposing to me. And so he did
Wait,
not question.
this was on Tuesday, you unblocked him.
Yes.
On Wednesday, he was in Nairobi proposing.
On Friday, he
On
was in
Friday
Nairobi
of the
proposing.
same week, he was in
Yes.
Nairobi. My
Yes.
goodness. I will come back to you. Hold on there. Solomon. How many times have I called you? Solomon. Did you have a private jet? What happened? Somebody unblocked you on Tuesday. Friday, you were in her living room in Nairobi. Tell us what happened. What transpired between that Tuesday and Friday? Somebody is saying divine speed and acceleration. Marcia coach is saying divine speed and acceleration. What happened? I'll go V Beru is saying Atiha. Huh? What are you saying? So go on, let me hear. How did you arrive in Nairobi? What happened?
Actually, it was my mom was just a ball of energy. She moves
Hey,
heaven and
these
earth, and
mothers,
my
these
fa-
mothers, your
yes,
mom.
my wife Pastor Liz always says actually she didn't marry me, she married her mother-in-law. So she moved heaven on earth. For me, I love flying, so I can just jump on a plane and go. So when my mom told me, hey, why don't you give it one last shot? I know she's been saying and no all this time, and I said, for me, okay, I'm willing to travel to Kenya. But she said, no, I want you to pack your bag and fly tomorrow. I'm like, what? Why don't we plan it nicely so we can send? No. And when it comes to timing, spiritually, my mom never missed a beat. So sure enough, she got me on a plane and I went to all the way from Philippines just to Nairobi, just one mission to ask, will you marry me? And I was ready for a no because my dad and my mom tried and they still got a no from this woman. But so I was prepared for a no. So I surprised her. My brother and his wife were living here at the time and they were good friends. So they came to visit pretending they were just bringing a cake, and the cake was me. So when I asked, "Hey, will you marry me?" Actually, she stayed there for like 2 minutes without replying. So that was a very long 2 minutes of my life. Yes. Tell us what happened next.
I was wondering how to
Before
say no without embarrassing
before she tells us what happened, as you are talking, I am saying in my heart, your mom said you need to pack and go tomorrow, and your mom said, why don't you give it one more trial? It
Yes.
means that you guys, the children, are so close and open with your parents that there is nothing you don't discuss. There are children, when they are dating, they hide from their parents. You won't even know when somebody is calling them and the parents are coming, they hide the phone. When they want to visit somebody, they will lie where they are going. But look at you, it's like your parents are the one. They try it, you can love her again, then you say, okay, then mom buys ticket. Mom, my
Yes.
goodness. Tell us, it is like you are very open. Is it the way that the parents made how did you people get to the point where you are so close to your parents that you can discuss anything?
Well, my parents believe, especially my mom, as much as she was strict and showing us the right way, they believe that it's better to be transparent and open with the children. So she tried to be friends with us in some way, in some level, and she would encourage us to open up. Of maybe we have a crush on a person, and she would say it's normal. So it was better communication that way than just hiding things. So especially with this arrangement, well, at the end of the day, she's the one who arranged it. So she knew about this and the whole situation. So that's why she was very much aware of the development.
Before I come to Liz, what I'm seeing here is that your mom and Liz's mom are kingdom covenant partners. They must,
Yes,
both of them must have the same kingdom value system.
yes,
Both of them. So
yes.
they love each other's spirituality. They love their kingdom values, and so they wish to see them in their children. So this kind of relationship is amazing. I want our audience to, in fact, somebody has already picked it up. Christine Nekono said friendship between parents and children. Oh, I thought he's talking about the parents, the relationship between the two mothers. In the kingdom, two mothers can be so close from two different families when their value systems are the same. I'm even sure that maybe they were even prayer partners. They are prayer partners. And
Oh,
so
yes.
maybe in one of the prayer meetings, they say, we can bring this relationship closer by making our children to marry. So even in our kingdom, women, I know men can, but men are not like that so much. When we say leave them, let them decide what they want to do. But women are very sharp. There is a way women see that men don't see. I want to recommend that in the kingdom, let our women begin to connect, especially those that have children. And you want to see value system, kingdom value system maintained in the family. I think it will be very important. I know that we are very open with our children, and one day one of them said, I have a question. He said, raise his hand, he said, I have a question. We asked him, what is the question? He said, let me even ask. In this house, is it possible for recommendation? Can parents actually recommend a wife for us? That's what he did. He said, I told him, why not? I said, why not? I said, if we find good wives, people who are the same kingdom values with us, we know them. We said, why not? But at the end of the day, we will do the recommendation, but you will still pray. He said,
Yeah.
okay, because I just was thinking and talking with my friend somewhere, and we were saying, can our parents can also help with some of these things? So we laughed and laughed. I want to really recommend that parents should be very friendly with their children, that your children should be your best friends, not outsiders, because it makes things a little more easier to navigate in our walk with God. All right, before I come to you and know how Liz everything now rounded up, for those of you that joined us late, uh that joined us late. Okay, somebody is saying, Wekesa is saying, remember the pastor Liz realized that the local pastors were wasting time. I want to see what she's saying in case it's something. I remember that the local pastors were wasting time. God put divine speed to Pastor Solomon. So when the local pastors in Kenya were wasting your time, maybe you guys were busy eating chips and going nowhere. Then God now put divine speed on Solomon to come. Somebody is watching from the kingdom of Bahrain. God bless all of you. Now, those of you that joined us late, please share. If you have forgotten to share, touch the icon of share. Let other people see that we can still go back to the kingdom principles and still do things that way. And of course, there's no method with God. There's no one method with God. But this is a different dynamics in choosing a marriage partner. So please, if you have not shared, share. Also, another one says, I'm also in Bahrain. Thank you so much. Please share. If you have not liked my page, like my page. If you have not followed me on YouTube, please click on YouTube, subscribe to my YouTube if you're on YouTube. And if you have not subscribed to the YouTube of the Ocampos, please subscribe to them. Their YouTube is called We Are Ocampo. We Are Ocampo. So make sure that people hear what we are doing and tick the thumbs up, meaning I love this show, and let your comments keep coming. Somebody say from Cartoon. I'm tuned from Cartoon. Thank you so much. Let me come, and don't forget our revival meeting tomorrow. The only answer to the global issue of today is revival. 8 p.m. tomorrow, revival meeting. Don't forget our Kesha on Friday, mini Kesha from 10 p.m. Please, let's keep praying. There was a long war between the house of David and the house of Saul. But at the end of the day, prayer collapsed the house of Saul. Let's keep on praying. Let me get back to you, Liz. And so at the end of the day, what eventually happened? How did you eventually say yes? And how did the marriage and the wedding and everything go?
Well, when he proposed to me, I was planning on saying no because, like I said, it didn't happen as I was expecting. I was expecting to get the friendship going, knowing his second name, his favorite color, and all that. But that didn't happen because from Tuesday, what's your ring size? The next thing is, will you marry me? And so when he was there, like he said, I didn't say anything for 2 minutes. I was just wondering what to say because I did not want to embarrass him. There were so many people. For some reason, that day, all my siblings were in the house. And, everybody's screaming, oh my gosh, you're getting married. Yeah, you're getting engaged. I'm like, no. But anyway, I didn't want to embarrass him. So I just said yes. And he was so happy. He was jumping up and down. I was like, oh my God. I wanted to tell him no afterwards, but he seemed so happy. So anyway, I go to the room with my siblings. I tell them, guys, don't be excited. I'm going to tell him no. And my elder brother, who is never home, who had even moved out of home, I don't know what he was doing at home that day, and he held me, and he's like, no, you're not gonna say no, you're gonna continue there, yes, you're gonna marry this guy. I'm like, hey, hold up. So he's like, you're gonna marry this guy. I was like, wow, okay, I'll tell him no later. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, I can't do it today, I cannot say no later, let me just continue with this fiesta here. And so we went out, we celebrated the engagement, immediately they tell the Philippines. And so that was on Friday. By Sunday, he goes back to the Philippines. And by Tuesday, his mother has bought me a ticket to go to the Philippines. And she just
What a
calls
mother!
me and
What kind of a mother is this? My goodness! My
and
goodness!
at that time I was
Maybe
working in,
Solomon, maybe is it possible to interview your two mothers? Can I interview your two mothers? Your
Yes.
mother Liz and your mother Solomon. Yeah, I want to interview both of them. Look at the way your mother was buying tickets. It's like, what kind of a mother is that?
so she didn't care whether I was working or what. At that time I was doing my internship of mass communication at a radio station. She's like, you're taking 3 weeks off, we're going to plan the wedding. I'm like, oh my goodness, I was going to say no to these guys. I was taking time to tell them I'm sorry, that yes was a no. So she flies me immediately to the Philippines on Tuesday, and for 3 weeks she spoiled me rotten. Like, I could not change my mind. Like, every time I was thinking, okay, this is the time I should tell them no, I'm not doing this, I'd find myself in 6-star hotels in the Philippines, and I'll find myself flown to an island to enjoy myself, and she'll take me shopping, and she's like, pick anything you want. Like, I was spoiled rotten. For 3 full weeks, I was just hotel hopping, from this hotel to this hotel, from this mall to this mall, shopping. I couldn't even carry everything that she bought for me, because that's how much she had spoiled me. And now my years was just had to be sealed, because I can't do this to my mom. She was like, you spent all their money just to say no again. So uh, that was the basis of my continuing to the
You know,
altar.
this
That
show
was
is keeping it real. And I thank God that all the guests we host, they keep it real. There's no cosmetic, there is no massage on it. They spoiled you and you say, my God, I've eaten the money of these people. Oh, so how do
exactly.
I come back to say no? They were
Exactly.
flying you around Philippines. I heard that
Yes.
Philippines has almost 7,000 islands.
Yes.
Yes, very beautiful. And I kept on going island hopping. I mean, you're in the flight, you're in the cruise, you're just eating people's money. So, like I said, I walked down to
So
the
many
aisle to
people
inspect that, not
will be
to
wishing
him.
to be you, Liz. So many people will say, "Hi God, take me to this family where they be before even marriage. They are taking me around. I'm cruising at their expense, at their cost, taking me shopping me
Exactly.
before even the wedding. What a family! Go ahead."
And so we planned the wedding while we're there. She planned everything. She ran everything. She just told me, what's your idea? I'm like, I just want this, this, and this. And she planned everything. And everything she did was perfect. I literally just showed up on my wedding day, and it was my perfect wedding, because she planned everything. She got my ideas and everything, and she did it. And so but now when I came back to Kenya after the 3 weeks, now I really got into praying and like, God, please, I hope I didn't make a mistake. And I started getting the peace of God in my life. Like, this is it. This is what you wanted, when it came to the purity standards, not to the physical. At the time, right now, is the most handsome man in my eyes. At the
Yes,
time.
of course.
Yes.
So let
And
me
so,
ask you: the wedding took place in Philippines, right?
yes, it was in the Philippines.
Were your
And so
parents there?
they flew my whole family, all
Oh
my
my God!
siblings, my bridesmaids.
Friends.
Those are my friends of my
Eh?
bridesmaids.
Eh? You said
All of
what?
us. And they paid,
They flew your family,
yes,
they
and
flew
my
your
bride,
bridesmaids, they flew
yes.
your friends to feel. No, 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 no,
Yeah.
no, 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 no. What are you saying?
Yeah. And so
That's why she couldn't say no anymore.
no, I couldn't say no. But anyway, God really confirmed to me in my heart. I got the peace that surpasses all understanding. That's why that two-year break was very important, because I realized there's no man out there for me. He's the man for me. He's the one man God chose for me. And so I really got that peace. And for sure, on my wedding day, I walked down the aisle to this stranger when I was convinced that he is the one, and we're doing this to the end. And nothing is gonna separate us. Like, I was convinced beyond convinced, like, I am doing this. And I was just grateful. And most people think it is, oh, it went because of the money and all that. No, I wasted their money, but my parents are not bad either. Yeah, I mean, my father.
Yes,
So yeah.
yes, I do.
So we
My
we we we're actually at par with them. And so so it wasn't money that pulled me off. Yeah, I felt guilty at the time for not saying no, uh, but I was truly convinced. Scripture after scripture just kept on popping up to me, and like, this is it, this is it. I was convinced.
how this marriage is how many how long is it now?
7 years in November. 7 years,
And
four
you have
children.
7 years, 4 children.
Yes.
She's
Hey!
pregnant all the time.
I'm sure you have not stopped. So what is going to happen is that 12 plus 8 is 20. Okay? 12 plus 8 is 20. You divide by 2, 10. So you will end up having 10. If in 7 years you already have 4 children. My goodness, my goodness. So what do you guys do now? Tell us a bit of your ministry now. What do you do?
Well, we're full-time pastors. I am the worship pastor in our church and the youth pastor. And apart from that, then we content create. During the pandemic, we realized we were jobless, when churches were closed. And then you just find yourself, you have nothing to do for weeks. That's when we opened our YouTube channel and realized, you know what, let's talk about our story and just talk about our family. And our children are also lively like us. We are both extroverts, and so are our children. And so we realized, let's just also start a YouTube channel and get our story out there, get the gospel out there. And so we preach there also. And so, yeah, we are full-time ministers.
My goodness, my goodness. So, Pastor Solomon, what is your passion in ministry?
Right
Because it
now,
is that now you have joined Gospel Tabernacle. Gospel Tabernacle. So, you minister there. Do your parents have their own ministry in Kenya?
In Kenya, we are always in partnership with Gospel Tabernacle churches, but in the Philippines, Japan, Korea, Germany, America, and other parts of the world, we have our own ministry. But here in Kenya, we partner with Gospel Tabernacle, and currently that's where I serve. My passion right now, I'm serving as a young couples pastor, and also in other departments of the church, marriages, talking about marriages and protecting because it's under attack right now.
The young ones.
Wow, 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 wow. So, in keeping it real, would you say that two of you thank God that you met each other? There's nothing like, I'm still thinking, I'm still looking, whether this really will work. From your heart, what do you think?
Oh yes, definitely. The first year, Pastor, it was the
It took
hardest.
time to
It
get
took
there.
time. The ups and downs, we go through it. Yes, you feel like walking out of the marriage. It might be an arranged marriage, but it's still a marriage like every other. All the ups and downs, the challenges are there. But the difference, I could say, in our case, is that we know that the foundation was not. I saw someone beautiful, although she's beautiful, and I chose her. No, the foundation we go back to is we believe that this was chosen by God. So, it's harder to walk away from that when you know that this is the destiny that you're called to do. So right now, no, there's no regrets. I know the tendency is like to think, oh, you blame your parents. I didn't even choose you. You were just given to me. But now there's nothing like that. We're both owning that decision because at the end of the day, we were asked. It's not like it was a shotgun wedding. No, we did
Yes.
it out of our own free will at the end of the day.
And so, our audience, what do you think? Let me ask the audience. Somebody is saying this couple has made Mama do mathematics today. Oh, today is today. Oh, yes, they know I don't know mathematics. My audience know that I don't know mathematics a lot. That mathematics is a tough one. Thank God that in the mathematics of the kingdom, 1 + 1 is equal to 1. So I find my way. So, but today they said that I got the mathematics right. 8 + 12, 20. Immediately divide by 2, 10. So I got it right. Minister Timothy Odiambo is saying, have you had any cultural shocks in your marriage, and how have you overcome them? This is a beautiful question from between Philippines and Kenya. Any cultural shock, and how did you overcome it?
Yes, definitely a lot of cultural shocks. For starters, I had moved there to the Philippines, and just even being a newlywed, I did not understand anything with their food, their language. They barely speak English, and so at all times you're just like this. What are you saying? Even nurses, doctors, they all just speak in Tagalog. And then the food, I was a new bride, I didn't know how to cook anything in the Philippines. Even their fruits are different. You're looking at rambutan, you're looking for oranges, you're looking for mango, you're mkamba looking for mango. There's no mango. Just everything was different. The seafood, you're cooking octopus, you're cooking. I'm like, I don't know this thing. So our first culture was definitely different was the food, and then the frequency in which they eat. Filipinos are always eating, always. Always,
If
like the
they,
way
if they beat Kenya in eating, then their own is another level, because Kenyans can eat. You eat in
Kenyans
the
can.
morning, yes, chai in the morning, 7. Breakfast, 10
Oh,
o'clock tea, lunch, 4 o'clock tea, 7 o'clock dinner, the final chai before you sleep. All right.
yeah, Philippines is worse. I found them like they were literally
My
eating at all,
goodness.
in small portions but frequent. And so yeah, there's just a lot of cultural difference that we found. And even just the good thing with, like you said before, our mothers had the same values. We literally, it's like we were brought up in the same house. It's so funny because exactly how I was brought up is exactly how he was brought up. Even the cartoons we were allowed to watch, the songs we were allowed to sing, it's exactly the same. I mean, the movies we were not allowed to watch, the things that it was just, it's funny. You'd think we are siblings. But
Oh my
our parents
God.
literally brought us up exactly the same. So that's what helped us, is even now as we bring up our children, we don't clash on anything because we just apply the same principles. And so that's what has really helped us, because where our differences and our similarities begin.
Any day, anytime, I will recommend a marriage that is kingdom based. Any marriage that has the interest of the kingdom at heart, that marriage will go far. Whether you are black or white, whether you are short or tall, whether you are born in the state house and another one in the slum, if the kingdom principle is at the center. I remember when I was to get married, I kept saying, God, on my wedding day, souls must be won. I didn't even bother whether people gave me gift. I was not interested in their gift. That's why up to today, I can't remember what people gave me. I don't remember whether people gave us gift. My whole focus was salvation of souls. God, let there be souls. And God saved people, including my bosses in the office, our neighbors in the compound. People God saved. So marriages that have kingdom values, at the center, they make God, they make a God very happy. All right. We have just like 2-3 minutes to wrap up this. Our audience, our fans, please uh don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube and to the YouTube of the We Are Kamba. And don't forget to like my page, my Facebook, and also follow me on Facebook if you are not following me. Next Sunday, we shall be bringing you an amazing guest. Let me just tell you a little bit about her. An amazing guest. This is Celine. Celine was abandoned by her mother. Celine was raped by a family member. Just think about family member raping you. What do you think? And so she'll be telling us her story, what she went through on Sunday. Keep it real. Don't miss this keep it real on Sunday, and prepare your questions. Don't forget we are meeting again at the altar of revival tomorrow to call on God for revival. All right. Now let me just let's wrap it up. People are appreciating from across the globe. They are saying what a beautiful love story. Some say that Solomon was a God sent from heaven for you. Some are saying that what kind of wonderful parents, amazing mothers are this. So many comments. So in your parting shot, if somebody forgets every other thing you have said, each one of you, what can you tell them? Don't forget from our story. I start
Yes.
with you.
Okay.
Well, from our story, please
But
don't
hold on,
forget.
please don't give me the parting shot, because after parting shot, we will leave it at that. I have a question for you. Now, you went to Philippines, got culture shock and things like that. Is it because of the culture shock that now Solomon relocated to Kenya, where you will eat mango, ugali, chapati, and all those things? What what informed the relocation to Kenya?
My pregnancy is what made us relocate. When I was pregnant, we got pregnant immediately, actually, 2 weeks after our wedding. And so I was craving Kenyan food. And my pregnancy was really very, very tough. I went through hyperemesis gravidarum, where you are constantly throwing up, so about 50 times a day. So I was becoming skin and bones. And the only thing I would only crave for is what is in Kenya. I'd want mudokoi, I'd want pilau. And they would go around Philippines looking. Him and his father would go from town to town, from island to island, just looking for beans. And it was becoming funny. It was becoming ridiculous, actually. It reached a point, even when I hear people speaking Tagalog, I would throw up. That's how bad my pregnancy rejected the Philippines. And so my mother flew in with a lot of Kenyan food, with jogo and pembe in her bag, and that ran out in 2 months. And then my father flew in again, and then they just begged them and said, let's just take our daughter back to Kenya. I mean, the food is what she wants, is what she's craving. Let her just come. And so we came back, and from there I've just been getting pregnant. Even the second time we moved back
I
again,
love this
and
show.
then I
I
got
love
pregnant
this
again.
show. From there, you have just been getting pregnant.
Yes. And so again, like, my pregnancy just rejects Philippines, and so yeah.
So you decide. So I think that shows that you are going to stay much longer, Solomon. Here, my goodness, because this pregnancy, it appears this pregnancy comes every year. So you have to get ready for it. Maybe when you get to the 10th pregnancy, after that, then we can send you off to the Philippines. So
Yeah.
so so you actually, the pregnancy worked for good, because it brought both of you to Kenya. And are you enjoying Kenya, Solomon? Are you missing Philippines for any reason?
Yeah, I miss Philippines terribly, but I also love Kenya. The people are friendly, as you may know, Pastor. The climate is wonderful. The food is richer, more nutritious. And I love nature, so I'm enjoying Kenya as well.
Wow, wow. I spoke text. I think I recorded a voice for one of my spiritual daughters tonight. I told her Kenya is home anytime, any day. I say when
Yes.
you travel out, as you're coming, I don't know about others. As soon as I land in Jomo Kenyatta, I say, oh, thank God I'm back home. You know,
Yeah.
there is that sense. I think when
Yeah.
you have stayed with the people for so long and you enjoy acceptance, you enjoy the destiny of God moving around you. For me, that is where home is. Home can be anything, because we Christians are pilgrims here on earth. We are
Yeah.
pilgrims. So even though you are from this home, from that home, it's good to go back home. But sometimes, if you have a kingdom mindset, your home becomes where you are making the things that God asks you to make. And I assume that was why Jesus said, did my mother and my father, those who hear my word. She wasn't
Yeah.
despising her biological parents. She was just trying to shift us a little bit from what we are used to, But you know, this is my home, this is my village, this is my this. And God shifted, Jesus shifted it a bit to understand that the kingdom is not in a location. The kingdom is not just here, the kingdom is the entire world. And so we are happy to have you in Kenya. At least you have, when we see you, we know that we can cross marry, you know, cross cultural, and is working, and we don't have a problem. So now give us your parting shots.
Well, what I want people to go with here is that God knows the desires of your heart, and He knows you better than anyone else. And it didn't matter what I thought I needed, God gave me what I needed. And when I look back at even what people I was dating and all that, I think I'd be a divorced woman by now, because only Solomon really knows how to figure me out. And his cherishing and loving is the kind that I expected for my marriage, that I really don't see out there. And so I'm just so grateful that I got a man who like you said, Nigerians and Filipinos, they know how to love. And so, he carries me like an egg, and I'm just, if you drop it, it can break. And I'm just so in love with this man because of how he treats me and how he cherishes me. And if at any one point there were doubts before the wedding, all those cleared out. Our first year was very hard because we were still trying to understand everything, still trying to know each other, still trying to know what we like and what we hate about each other. But after that, it just became sweeter and sweeter, as the word of God is, taste and see that the Lord is good. And so
Wow.
it was a great decision. There's so many people wonder, how did you do it? But I also don't know how I did it. But now that I'm in it, I just thank God that it is just the best decision of my life, was walking down to the stranger.
Wow, wow, wow. Walking down the aisle with a stranger. I also want to commend you, Liz. You were looking for a man that will be your priest. In other words,
Yes.
from the beginning, you also had a personal value system. You needed a
Mhm.
man that will take you higher in your calling.
Mhm.
You didn't approach your calling or treat your calling with, with disregard. For you, you were not just looking for a man. I just want to settle down. I just want to settle down. No, your ministry was a priority. That you needed a priest and somebody who will be higher than you spiritually. All right, that's beautiful. And what's your parting shot? And now, I don't want people to say that I said that Nigerians love. It is you who said it, though. Yes, I never said it in this show. I only said the Filipinos and Nigerians do movie. They love to do movies, like everything about them is movie. Liz, you are the one that said Nigerians and Filipinos love. uh I don't want after this show they say, hey, Pastor Esther said that we don't love. No, I didn't say. Oh, it is Kenyan woman that said Filipinos and Nigerians love. All right. What is your parting shot, Solomon?
Yes, Pastor. My parting shot maybe is to say that love is not an emotion, because if we depend on the emotion, it will come and go. There will be days where you're sure, what am I doing with this spouse of mine? So, but love is a decision, and we know that love is God. So once we come back to it, that it's a decision you make, no matter how you feel, and you go back to that, because there will be days where it will be very difficult, but if you go back to that, that can be your anchor. So love is not a feeling, it's a decision.
Love is not a feeling, it's a decision. For that's true, because you may not love somebody so deeply today, and as time goes on, just like Proverbs 4:18 says, that the path of the just is like a shining light. You keep on loving the fellow, keep on loving the fellow. And there are people you love today, along the way you don't love them as much. You discover that you made a mistake and that love disappears. So I believe it's not an emotion, it's a decision. But that decision for God's people must be based on the agenda of God. The
Yes.
agenda of God. I'm yet to see a marriage that has collapsed if it is Christ centered. Because no matter the crisis, if Christ is at the center, you will sort it out. You will
Amen.
definitely sort it out. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I have my own parting shot. My own parting shot is that we should allow God to be God in our lives, and we should remain human beings. The ways of God are past finding out. We cannot close the door on God, and we cannot put God in our pockets and say, God, this is the way I want you to show my husband through dream, through vision, or speak to the prophet, or speak. No, no, no. Let's be open-minded to the Holy Spirit. Someone else can get a husband through dream, another one we get through connection, another one we get through arrangement, another one we get through thus says the Lord, another one we get through long time relationship and friendship, another one can pick up at the bus stage, another one can get in matatu, another one can get in the plane. God is a perfect arranger. God is a perfect arranger. His ways are past finding out. Let's surrender to him and allow him to work out the rest of the things. With this, we come to the end of our show tonight. And thanks to all our viewers. And please help us to share this broadcast widely. God bless you and have a beautiful week. To the Ocampos, thank you so much for being on my show. Don't log out yet yourselves. I will log out from being live, then I will have a side chat with you. So don't log out for now. God bless all of you and good night.